Macmillan Audio presents Vengeance by Benjamin Black. Read for you by John Keating. Part 1. Chapter 1. Davy Clancy was not a good sailor. In fact, he was secretly afraid of the sea. Yet here he was, on this fine summer morning, about to set out on it, in a boat that looked to him like a large and complicated toy. It was, they all said, a perfect day to be on the water. They did not say it was a perfect day to be in a boat, or to be out sailing. No, a perfect day to be on the water, as if it was their motto or something. And they were all so jolly and brisk, smiling in a smug, self-satisfied way that set his teeth on edge. Unlike him, they knew what they were doing. The wind-burned men in yachting caps and khaki shorts, and shapeless sweaters, playing at being old sea dogs, and their loud-voiced, leathery wives. Sea bitches, he thought, with a twinge of bleak amusement. He did not belong here, among these sailing folk with their lazy expertise. He knew it, and they knew it too, which meant they had to behave twice as heartily towards him, though he could see that look in their eyes, that gleam of merry contempt. It was June, and although it had rained every day the first week of the holiday, this morning was sunny and warm, with not a breath of wind. Tide was high, and the water in the bay had a sluggish, swollen look, the surface oily with streaks of sapphire and pink and petrol blue. He tried not to think of what was below the surface, of the murk down there, the big-eyed fish nosing along, and things with claws scuttling around on the bottom, fighting in slow motion, devouring each other. Victor Delahaye had brought the jeep round to the front of the house that morning, and they had rattled the 10 miles over the mountain road to Slievemore Bay in silence. Going for a sail was the last thing Davy wanted to do, but it had not been possible to refuse. "You can crew for me," Delahaye had said the night before in Sweeney's bar, and everyone had laughed, for some reason. Everyone except Delahaye himself, and Delahaye's wife, who had looked at Davy narrow-eyed with that smile of hers, and said nothing. And so here he was, about to venture out against his will on this frighteningly calm and innocent-seeming sea. The Clancys and the Delahayes had been close for as long as anyone could remember. Samuel Delahaye and Philip Clancy had gone into partnership together at the turn of the century, running coal boats from Wales. Later, Samuel Delahaye had spotted the potential of the motor car, and the partners had opened one of the first big garages in the country, hiring in mechanics from England, France, Italy. The business had flourished. Although the founders were supposedly in equal partnership, everyone knew from the start that Samuel Delahaye was the boss, and Phil Clancy merely his manager. Phil, poor Phil, as people were inclined to say, was not of an assertive disposition, and had quietly accepted his inferior role. Now Samuel's son, Victor, was in charge of the firm, and Phil Clancy's son, Jack, was supposedly his partner. But it was still as it had been in the old days, with Delahaye in charge, and Clancy his second in command. Unlike his father before him, Jack Clancy resented his subordinate position, resented it deeply, though he tried hard, and mostly with success, not to let his dissatisfaction show. But a Clancy could not say no to a Delahaye. That was understood, which was why Davy Clancy had only smiled and shrugged when in Sweeney's the previous night Victor Delahaye, on the way to getting drunk and with a soiled look in his eye, had leaned over the table and invited him to come out for a sail in the Quicksilver. Davy knew nothing about.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?